Yeah. Running Back Nation, Sixers sickos. Welcome to another edition of Sixers Saturdays. DJ Eastwood, Running Back Philly. Tone to Shield, Chalk It Up Sports. Mike Sports Vibes. And the question is, can the Sixers turn the season around? Am I being duped? Am I being absolutely insane to feel good about the win last night? And it's hard to feel good because I just feel like they're gonna stab me in the back again. But I did feel good about the win last night, man. So we're gonna talk about everything. Thanks for being here, everybody. Give us as many likes as you can for doing this every Saturday morning for you. How you feeling, fellas?
I feel good, man. First of all, it's good to be back. I appreciate you guys for holding it down last week during the holidays. I was traveling, so I couldn't be on the show. Then the week prior to that, we took a week off. But I feel good, man. I'm glad to be back in the fold with you guys. Looking forward to talking some Sixers. And listen, man, I'm going to lean on you guys a lot, man, because you guys are. I always feel like you guys are more entrenched than I am. I'm a fan of the Sixers. I try to follow them as closely as possible, and I keep up with everything. I keep up with all the news, and I watch the games. But I feel like you guys are more of the sharpest tools in the toolbox when it comes to this. So I'm really looking forward to hearing you guys' perspective about these Sixers this week.
We're a little more sick and demented, is what you're saying.
Yeah, man. The last four games we 3-1, and we could have won all 4 games. The Magic beat us the last game, and I think we could have won that game if Tyrese Maxey would have been a little bit better from 3, and if we would have made our free throws. We missed like 8 free throws that last game, so we could have won easily both games. You know what I mean? But this goes to show you, man, like the season's long. You know what I mean? This is a marathon, not a sprint, and I feel like we're eventually going to get some wins under our belt, and we're going to start climbing up them standings. We're going to start climbing up them standings slowly but surely.
So Mike's feeling good, man. Mike's getting back into it, man. Mike's buying the hype.
Oh, baby.
I don't know if I'm buying the hype yet. I'll say that much. I don't know if I'm buying the hype yet. They're 6-15. They played 21 games. There's 61 games left if my math is correct.
Yeah, we got a lot.
So there's a lot of basketball left. Let's be very clear about that part. There's a lot of basketball left. And who says this team can't win 45, 50 games maybe? Like it's because there's so many games left, there's always the possibility. But
yeah.
When you haven't seen Joel Embiid since November 20th? Like that Memphis game, that was the last time we saw him. And like he's only played 4 games this year.
Yep.
So it's like regardless if they're back or not, regardless if they do manage to get above 500, what's the real goal here? Is the goal just to make the playoffs, or is the goal to win a championship? Because the reality is you can't win a championship when your best player and his knees don't get along.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've been off of the Sixers winning a championship this year for a long time.
Okay.
I think I'm just saying that. So I like last week I was on this like, bro, hang it up. You know what I mean? You're not going anywhere. You're stuck with these 2 guys for the next 4 years. Joel can't get on the floor. Paul George can't get on the floor. They can't win a game. Tank for the top of the draft. Try to go to next season and see if you can get some guys healthy. I just feel like Paul George changes it so much. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that too in the preseason, in the hyperextended knee. Then he came back from that, and he just looked a little timid and shying away from getting to the rim and playing a really soft game. And that's probably a lot of mental that goes into feeling like your leg almost snapped in half. And then he hyperextended it again, and I was like, we're absolutely cooked. You know what I mean? But what he looked like last night made me feel a lot better because he was he doesn't really look like he can get off the floor anymore, but he was still going to the rim and being physical. It didn't look like he was shying away from contact. It felt like he was trusting his knees and things, and he has that big giant brace on there, so maybe that probably makes him feel a little safer about it. But the game changes so much with him on the floor because he's such an elite, just flat out shot creator. Just 1-on-1, dude. Left, right, spin, step back. He's so hard to guard 1-on-1. And then the Magic will bring in double teams all night, and that just changes everything, making the defense move. And the fact that they beat Orlando, who was 9 of their last 11, they won 9 of their last 11, and Tyrese Maxey still had an ice cold shooting night, and they still beat Orlando. So as bad as this team looked in the beginning of the season, they get a win over a team that was hot, and Tyrese Maxey didn't even play a good game. So I feel like if Paul George can continue to get on the court and do what he did last night, we don't need you to drop 50, just 21, 9 assists, and changing the game the way that he does. And then if Maxey can get back into his groove, that's another dynamic. Jared McCain didn't even have a good game, and he got kind of benched because of turnover issues in the first quarter. If you can get Maxey and McCain to figure it out, and Paul George can continue to get on the floor, and then maybe at some point this season, maybe they can get some wins without Joel, and maybe you can, bring him back in like middle of January or something like that. But that's why I'm feeling good about it, I think, man.
Yeah, I feel good. What was the year when the Heat, they barely made it to the playoffs and they got to the NBA Finals? What year was that? They was like a play-in team.
Yeah,
Jimmy Buckets just went.
Oh, that was the bubble year.
That was the bubble year, right? The bubble year?
That was when they knocked off Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals, right?
Was that the bubble year?
I don't think that was the bubble
because
year.
the last time they were in the finals was when they played the Lakers.
I do know that was
or they
the
got
year
to Eastern
that
Conference Finals, one of the two. But I know what my point is like I don't really care about being first in the standings. We're not going to get the top spot. We're not going to get the second spot. We're probably not going to get the third or fourth. As long as we get into the playoffs, and I know it's a big if we're healthy, anything can happen. You know what I mean? I feel like the one thing that we unlocked over the last few games was the young players. We're playing our young players. Bona's getting some minutes. KJ Martin is balling. I mean, we talking about his offense last game, and I love it, but his defense has always been on point. Yeah. I love KJ Martin. So, and another thing, Ricky Council's getting some minutes, and he's starting to change it up the lineup. So I just feel like we unlocked something. It sucks that it took injuries for us to play our young players, but I think it's just a different team. You know what I mean? So it's not like when Joel Embiid was playing. They wasn't playing their young players when Joel Embiid was playing. Now the energy is up, the passion is up because the young legs are on the court, and I think it's just a different swag right now. So I feel like even though like we're 6 and 15, I really don't care about. We just want to take one game at a time, and eventually we're going to catch some of these teams. And as long as we get into the playoffs and the big guy, and that's a big if he's healthy, we got a chance. I know it sucks me saying that, but it's always every single year. But if he is healthy and he's like 85% healthy, we have a chance to beat anybody in the Eastern Conference in a 7-game series, and that's including the Boston Celtics. I still don't believe in the Cavs. I don't know what it is about the Cavs, but I just think they're not their record. They're like the Hawks that year when they had like the best record. And
I know what you're talking about.
Like they're not like I don't think they're all that. That's just my opinion. Maybe I might be wrong. But for us to beat the third best team record wise in the Eastern Conference without our big dog, and we almost beat them last game, and it was because of Maxey was so bad. I think this team unlocked something due to the injuries. You know what I mean? And talking about Paul George, I did not know he was such a good playmaker. Like 9 assists, put up a 20-piece nugget, and it wasn't like it was forced. It was just, you know what I mean, he was just doing his thing. And like you said, Eastwood, and he just breaks people down off the dribble, drives to the lane, kicks it out, and if you make your shots, I think we got something, y'all. I think we got something.
Well, you know, it's funny.
Speaking of Paul George, right before you go, Tone, speaking of Paul George, my bad. I just wanted to point out what you just said right there about his assists. He has 4 8-assist games this season. He only had 3 all season last season, and he played 74 games last year.
Wow.
So he's being much more of a facilitator right now than he even was on the Clippers last year.
It's a chance that it's probably because he feels like he has to, because he knows probably in his mind, I can get to my shot. I got to make sure everybody's confident enough around me so they can get their shot as well, because we don't have the big guy right now. I do have some young dogs around me who can score on their own, so I want to make sure I get them to rock, a la Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, so on and so forth. But But it's funny, right? There were moments in that game though where I said to myself, "What is Nick Nurse thinking?" And I think this goes back to his infatuation with Kyle Lowry. And again, right? You guys mentioned playing the young guys, and there are moments where I'm like, okay, yeah, he's finally doing it. But then I'm like, bro, like you just can't keep doing this. Like, for example, right? There was a point where the Sixers were up 17 points, right? And then Kyle Lowry entered the game. Magic went on a 10-0 run. Kyle Lowry exits the game. Sixers going to 6-0 run. So it's just like, again, as much as I want to believe in the personnel, because from top to bottom, even before the season started, I looked at the team and I said, okay, I like the personnel, regardless of, I know they don't have much size, but I feel like if everyone's doing their job the way we expect, I think this team can be very, very good and make some noise. But outside of the personnel, I still have my questions in regards to Nick Nurse and his decision-making as it pertains to rotations. And like earlier, you said McCain got benched for a few turnovers, right? Mm-hmm. Kyle Lowry, it just seems like he could do no wrong in his eyes. So look, man.
Yep.
And I think that's why I'm so hesitant, because I look at the coach and I don't trust him right now.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I can agree.
I feel the same way about Nick Nurse. But what Mike said about playing the young players, it's wild because we weren't wrong. We're sitting up here.
Right.
The first 3 games of the season, I was like, I'm watching Eric Gordon and Reggie Jackson and Kyle Lowry in 2024.
That
like,
shouldn't
even
be...
if you feel like they're more experienced than the young guys that are on your squad, why would you ever think that's going to win basketball games, And then, some injuries happen, and he just started to see it. And so you haven't seen Reggie Jackson really. You've seen Reggie Jackson maybe a couple of minutes 2 games ago. I don't think he got on the floor last night. You haven't seen Eric Gordon for like 3 games. Finally, this guy, and you're right, Tone, like for so many games so far this season, it looked like those guys could put up terrible shots, drive in the rim. Dude, Eric Gordon will drive in the rim against 3 guys, throw up like a left-handed floater off the side of the backboard. I'm like, what am I watching? And he kept getting minutes. But a guy like Jared McCain turns the ball over 2 times and gets punished for it. And that's how Nick Nurse is, and he's the same thing Doc Rivers used to do. But I think now, maybe, he does see, hey, look what happens. The fact that KJ Martin was getting DNPs in some of these games is crazy because you lack athleticism and defense so much. And now he sees it, and he's playing him, and he's performing, and he's adding an offensive side that he didn't have last season also, KJ Martin is. But, yeah, it's just wild that a coach would even think that those rotations he was running at the beginning of the season could compete with NBA teams. And it's wild that Daryl Morey thought these guys should even be on a roster at that age. They got released by other teams. Let me sign some of these 38-year-old buyouts and see if that'll work. Like, that's crazy, But yeah, maybe Nick Nurse is back in. I do have skepticism though when I look at the box score and you got 20 points from KJ Martin off the bench and not really anything from anyone else off the bench in last night's game because Caleb Martin went out with an ankle injury. Not that he's been good recently anyway, because he has something wrong with his shoulder and can't shoot a basketball. So you're not going to get 20 points from KJ Martin off the bench every night. So they are going to have to still figure out some kind of depth. You know what I mean?
What are you expecting from KJ Martin, like point-wise? Like, what's the bare minimum for you? Like
10 points. He's athletic enough to get to the rim. He can get fouled. Like, I think KJ Martin. I've always had a soft spot for KJ Martin. Maybe it's because I've always liked his dad growing up. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like KJ Martin, he's an athletic dude that plays defense. He has 2 traits that you lack right now. And you need that, especially in a guy that can play the wing, that can play the guards, the 2 spot, whatever. Like, he's an athletic dude who's going to attack, who's going to always cut. Yeah. I like KJ Martin, and I feel like KJ Martin can definitely average between. He could definitely average between 10 to 13 points if he's given the minutes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think because he's not trying to create his own shot, he's playing his role, he's playing within his own skill set, and he's getting set up by other guys. He's screening and rolling, and McCain's hitting him on the roll. Paul George is driving and kicking it out and hitting him on the cut. So as long as he doesn't have the ball in his hands and is trying to run an ISO, you know what I mean? If he's cutting and stuff, you're right. Yeah, and the other guys being great setup guys, I think he could average 10 points off the bench. I agree with that.
You know who's been sneaky good the last couple of games? Not really sneaky. Kelly Oubre Jr. He's been balling, y'all. Like from shooting the three and just doing his thing, not doing too much. He shot 50% from the field this game, 1 of 3 from 3. He had 13 points and he had 10 rebounds. That's big. I feel like having a double-double from one of your wing players is big, especially when you have, and I'm not coming at Yabusele. I like Yabusele. He has 3 rebounds all game in 33 minutes. That's not good.
That's crazy.
I just feel like he's been stepping his game up the last couple of games. And I don't know, what was the last game against the Magic? I don't know how many threes he made. He had to make like 5 threes against the Magic.
Yeah, he went 4 for 7.
4 or 7.
4 or 7, yeah.
He's playing excellent. But my question is, what is going on with Tyrese Maxey?
I'm glad you brought that up.
Steph Curry's the only player that I will say in the NBA right now that can go on a fast break, a 2-1 fast break when you have the numbers and you can just run to the three-point line. He's the only guy because that's Steph Curry, one of the best shooters of all time, the best shooter of all time. But Tyrese Maxey, instead of passing it on a 2-1 fast break when you have the numbers, he's running to the three-point line and bricking for chicken. And I don't understand why he's doing that. Like, dog, get the higher percentage shot. Stop going for the 3. And he just keeps on shooting the ball. The last couple of games, he is 1 for like 14 from 3.
Yo, listen, I'll make it worse for you, bro. I'll make it worse. So the month of December just started, but we're here. In the month of December, which is 3 games, he is 2 for 21 from the three-point line.
And he keeps chucking them up.
2 for 21. It's not like you need your three-point shot. What I'm trying to say is, Maxey, you are athletic. You can get to the rim. You can put the ball on the floor. You can drive. Like you can finish with either hand. He's such a creative finisher. And he's so fast. You don't gotta rely on your three, like you said, right? In transition, why are you pulling up for a 3? Get to the rim, get fouled.
Yeah, got the numbers and everything.
Yeah, come on, man. and look, man. I don't want to try to indict Tyrese Maxey because he's not having a good shooting year, because this is the NBA and careers are long. And we could look at anybody who's some of the best shooters that we've ever seen. You could look at their career. They always have that season or 2 or 3 over the span of a 12, 13, 15-year career where they did not shoot how they normally shoot. And maybe this just happens to be that season for him right now or so far. Not saying, again, 61 games left. By the end of the season, he may end up shooting 38% or 40% from 3. You never know. But just right now, these past 3 games, he just hasn't been shooting well. And throughout the season, he really hasn't been shooting well from 3. Overall, hasn't really been consistent. He's had his spots. He'll go on a stretch. Then he'll have a cold stretch. So I'm trying my hardest not to indict Maxey, because I know we know his commitment to the game. We know his preparation, how hard he works. Sometimes the ball just doesn't go in. I think he just has to go back to the basics, get to the rim, layups, get fouled, get into that rhythm at the free throw line, and just attack that way. I think right now on the season, he's shooting 40% from the field, averaging 24 points. So look, he's in the top 20 in scoring. He just has to get more efficient, and I think he will over the extent of the season.
Yeah, I think he's a comfort player. Like if he doesn't look comfortable, I don't think he's looked comfortable really since the season started, because he didn't know he was going to be playing without Joel and Paul George to start the season. And those first couple games, he was chucking like 35 shot attempts per game, just out there, absolutely chucking up bricks. But forcing it. It's looked like he's been forcing it since the season started. He looked alongside James Harden a couple years ago, his percentages were crazy, because obviously James is a facilitator and draws the defense, and so he looked more comfortable in that. He's more comfortable with Joel Embiid on the floor. Clearly, Joel Embiid draws the defense and gets him open shots. So, I do think Tyrese Maxey's probably a perfect number 2 scorer. When he's a number 1 guy, he's really out there. It looks like he's forcing it. This season so far, he hasn't been taking high percentage shots, not just the 3, but even like when he drives the rim, he's taking on 3 defenders, like, flying sideways up and under, 360 left hand, like all this. He's not taking high percentage shots at all. And he doesn't really have like a stop and just pull up mid-range shot. Unless it's like an ISO step back or a fade away. But you see a guy like Jared McCain really just be patient with the ball and just like they give him 2 feet of space. He's just going to shoot the corner mid-range jumper. Tyrese doesn't really have that.
But Eastwood, you know what I think that is? I think because I think East. Okay, so McCain doesn't have anywhere the athleticism as a Maxey, right?
Right.
So I feel like because of that, he has had to learn to be patient with his game and kind of slow walk it or dog walk it, right? Like, you know, it's certain like Luka, right? He's not fast at all, but somehow, some way, he knows how to get to his spots and create the space. I think Maxey, he has so much speed that he thinks he can get past anybody. But to your point, I think he has to develop that stop and pop.
Yeah.
Because you have that speed, you can use that to your advantage. Like, you're so fast that they're going to try to keep up with you. Then you just stop on a dime.
Yep.
You're going to create so much. You're going to create so much space with that. So I think McCain has that because he's had to develop that. And then I think Max is realizing, okay, there's a level to my game that I still haven't tapped into yet, and that is the mid range. But I also think that's a combination of where the league is, right? In the league, it's layups and threes.
Yeah.
But he has to, especially if he wants to take his game to another level and just be more versatile. Because in the playoffs, that layup and three thing, now the mid range becomes more valuable.
Right.
You know what I mean? In my opinion, the mid range is a playoff shot.
Right. Threes are not, you know what I mean? If you don't make your threes, you're done. You know what I mean? If you rely too much on the three. But you know what I'm thinking? I feel like another reason why he's probably forcing the threes a lot is because he's not getting the whistle. I don't know what it is about Tyrese. He's not getting the whistle as much as he should. He'll get smacked on the arm and everything. They don't call it for some reason. But like, I love Luka. Complains a lot. He flops. He's probably one of the best floppers in Jalen Brunson. They flop and like they scream like they got punched in the face, like they got two-pieced or, you know what I mean? And they get the call. I mean, I know they're bigger stars possibly than Tyrese Maxey, but my goodness, Tyrese Maxey, when he drives to the hole, he be getting foul, hacked, and everything, smacked in the head. They don't call it for some reason.
Is it really just officials choosing to call it or not call it? Because you can look at a guy like Ricky Council. He gets to the line a lot when he's in there because he plays the game so physical. And I think officials are watching the game, and Tyrese Maxey's such a fast player, and he's always flying to the rim. He has a little bit of, like, even if he's not, it might look out of control. You know what I mean? And so I think officials don't give him calls because just like instinctually it looks like he's just diving into the defender until you see the replay and you're like, dude, it's a foul. But somebody like Jared McCain, Brunson, these other guys, they're playing a much slower game and they're selling it a lot more because you know their change of speed. I just don't think they look as out of control attacking the defense as Tyrese Maxey does, and that's probably a large reason why.
I can't even
Jared
give
McCain
the refs
gets the calls too.
I hear you. And look, but here's the thing, right? I can't even give the refs bail on that part, right? And I understand what you're saying because you could very well be right. But here's my pushback to that. These refs aren't rookie refs. They've been calling this game for a long time. They've seen all different kinds of basketball players. The fast ones, the slow ones, the super athletic. They've seen so many different range of basketball players and how they play this game. You mean to tell me for some reason Maxey's the anomaly? We for some reason we can't see Maxey. He's just a blur.
He's just too fast.
He's too fast. He's just a blur. So like, even though you may be right, you may absolutely be right. I just have a hard time believing that these guys who've been reffing games for probably well over a decade, now all of a sudden we can't understand this player.
Right.
You know what
I
I'm
don't
saying?
think they're good. I don't think officials are good
not
at their
good at
jobs
all.
at all. And that's
I
probably the
agree with
reason
that.
that I do believe that they can get duped by something like that. Dude, 2 nights ago, I saw them call a flop on Brandon Miller. And you watch the replay. First of all, when they put the rule into, we're going to call flops now. If you flop, it's a technical foul. Right when they announced that 2 years ago, I was like, these guys can't even call a foul the right way. They get duped by floppers for years now. If they don't even know what a flop is, how are they going to call a flop? You know what I mean? So then they try to implement this like, we're going to call flops technical fouls. And I've seen it several times now this year. Brandon Miller a couple nights ago tripped on the 3-point line over another player, and they gave us a technical foul for flopping. They are so bad, it's unbelievable. And dude, they're so bad. And then you watch like these challenges, these replay challenges where they'll be like, hey, Orlando challenged the foul. It wasn't a foul, so the Sixers should win the challenge. But when we watched the replay, we saw a loose ball foul in the background over there in the corner. And so Orlando wins the challenge, but it's free throws for the Sixers. Like, that's insane, dude.
That's stupid. I don't like that because when you challenge something, okay, because the whole challenge thing started in football, right? That's where challenges started. And the whole when you challenge something, you have to tell the ref exactly what you're challenging. You can't you can't just because it got caught on camera, you can't say, hey, that's on camera too. We want that too. You have to challenge. Yeah, when you talk to the refs, you got to tell specifically, hey, I want to challenge whether this receiver had his feet in bounds and possession. Okay, but if somebody, but if pass interference happened on the opposite side of the field, you can't add that in. For some reason, the NBA is allowing that, and I don't understand that.
It's crazy. Yeah, it makes no sense, dude. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. They'll be challenging a loose ball and who it went off of, and they'll be like, it went off of Orlando, but we saw a foul by Philly, so it's free throws for Orlando. Philly wins the challenge, but free throws for Orlando. Dude, it's insane. I can't understand.
It's like they're low key decentivizing calling for a challenge. It's like, okay, if you call this challenge, just know we see something else, we're gonna get your ass too.
We're gonna get you. Yeah.
It's like, come on, what?
You're going against us. You challenging us.
Yeah, it's like they're punishing you for challenging.
Yeah.
They're also insulting themselves though. Like, yeah, we missed this, but we saw that we also missed this and this. So now we're gonna call this. It's crazy. I don't know where they get these officials at, man. There was a challenge the other night that like on Yabusele, I think, and he got hit on the arm while shooting, and they called it marginal contact. I don't even know what marginal contact means. If you touch a shooter's arm when he's shooting, it's a foul by definition. But they'll be like, basically, he got fouled, but we decided it wasn't a hard enough foul to be called a foul. So, like, it's insane. I don't understand it.
Do you guys think the NBA product is going downhill?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. For sure. Yeah. Oh, my God, yeah. Oh, my God, yeah. Bro, the flopping in this league is so bad. It's unbelievable, bro. And they don't know how to control it. Like I just said, they try to give technical fouls for flopping. They can't do that, right, because they don't know what a flop is in the first place. It's bad. Yes. 100%.
I blame James Harden. I blame James Harden for this.
He said I blame James Harden.
It's James Harden's fault. When he was winning all those MVPs, it was his fault flopping all the dang on time. It's like, nah, he's a big part though.
He's a smart player, and he figured out if the defender's arm is parallel and I just get my arms up under his arm, it's technically a foul, even though I initiated the contact and I wasn't even really shooting the ball. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he mastered that for sure. These officials have no idea. They keep rewarding it, bro. They keep rewarding it, and I don't remember seeing this back in the day. You know what I mean? I don't remember seeing this in the early 2000s. I saw a lot of no calls. Allen Iverson would get bodied all the time, and you know, but I didn't see this like stop and jump sideways and all this bullshit. And they keep
the best actors.
They keep rewarding it. That's the problem with it, man. And then they'll do a review after the game and be like, the referees made an incorrect call last night. What's the point of that?
What's the point of it? Just stop. What's the point of it?
It's over with now.
Because now you're just spitting in my face. Like, you know what I mean? You're. I just feel like they believe they're being transparent. I believe you're fucking with me. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I don't understand. It's not good. So I wanted to talk about what else I want to talk about. I had something. The Gershon Yabusele thing with the trade deadline coming up. Gershon Yabusele is on a minimum contract, and I have a tweet from Harrison Grimm that says, one thing to monitor as we inch closer toward the trade season, minimum contracts have never been more valuable in trade discussions than they are now as teams all over the league grapple with luxury tax restrictions. I would imagine Gershon Yabusele, who fits that mold, would be close towards the top of the list for several teams. And once I started reading about it, because he's on a minimum contract and he took a buyout from the EuroLeague, which cost him almost $1 million, he's going to be looking for every penny he can get. Right. And if he continues to play the way he's playing and just show that I can affect a team in this way, not the most athletic guy in the world as far as like leaping ability, like you say, you know, he doesn't rebound well, he doesn't block shots well, but just his strength and his hustle and what he can do on the offensive side and his three-point shooting percentage. He's the best three-point shooter on the Sixers right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That sounds crazy.
I thought that was Jerry McCain.
He's the only player at 40% from three right now. Maybe there's a minimum minutes requirement. I didn't look at what Jared McCain's percentages were, but a couple days ago he was at 43% from three. He was the best 3-point shooter on the team at the time.
Right. He's 40% right now. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so he's averaging four a game.
The fact that he's 6'8", 275 is a strong hustle guy and can stretch the floor and can do some things interiorly with his drop step, turnaround, hook shot, things like that. he's going to be valuable to other teams, and the Sixers don't have any cap space at all. We have no cap space at all. You got max contracts with Embiid, Paul George, Tyrese Maxey. It's going to be tough for them to pay him next year because somebody's going to offer him probably more money than we can. And so at the trade deadline, it probably is in the Sixers' best interest to get something in return for him, which would make me really sad. You know what I mean?
I like him.
I like him too.
I like him, man. And I think he brings tremendous value to his team, especially right now.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Imagine not having him right now.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I guess what you got to ask yourself now is, what are your aspirations this season?
yeah.
Because if you do trade him, I'm not saying he's a top 4, top 5 player on the team, but I'm just he just might be, but I'm just saying, like, I guess the point I'm trying to make is, if you trade him, that tells me, okay, you've washed your hands of this year. If you don't trade him, that means you believe, regardless, he can still make a difference down the stretch and change your fortune, whatever it may be. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on that angle?
I feel like it really just depends on what you get back in return. Like, if you have to package KJ Martin to like match the salaries or whatever, I mean, I wouldn't want to get rid of KJ Martin, but if it's for a player,
That's two high effort players that you get
I
rid
know,
of.
but it has to be somebody. It has to be a dog that you get back, man. Yo, I like the Wagner brothers, man. Like, what's the other bull?
It's Mo and Franz, right? It's Mo and Franz.
Franz, yeah.
Yeah, I like the other, not France, not him.
Mo.
You like Mo off the bench.
Yeah, I would love to have a player like that, man.
Wait, are they both on the Magic?
Mo's
Yup,
a dog
both
off
on
the
the
bench, dude.
If
Mo's
we
a
could
dog
somehow
off the
get
bench,
him,
man.
like a player of that caliber, bro, like, man, he could start probably. He's a center or power forward? He plays both.
I think he plays center mostly off the bench for them. Well, with Jonathan Isaac, he plays both. But him off the bench is a big reason the Magic are 16-9 and won the last 9 of their last 11.
Right.
Yeah, especially they're two brothers that play a different style of basketball and really complement each other. And you don't like. Yeah, I wouldn't get rid of either one of those dudes, man.
Yeah, they're dogs. Franz is averaging 24 on the season, shooting 46 from the field.
Nah.
And Mo is having a pretty good season too off the bench.
Yeah.
Mo is averaging almost 13 points, shooting above 50% from the field. I mean, those guys are very valuable to what they're doing.
It would have to be that caliber of player that we get back that I'm just like, they're not tanking the season, but. It's hard to get players like that.
If the Magic get Banchero back at some point, man, they're actually going to be a dangerous team.
Yeah, they're a top 3 team now. So
You know why they're this good though? Outside of obviously they're talented, but they're well coached.
Oh yeah,
they are well coached. I look at OKC and yes, they're talented, but they're also well coached. Do you know what OKC's defensive metrics are? They are insane. Like, and I feel like defense is coached. Right? Yeah, you got to have length and size, but like I feel like that's defense in the NBA. I feel like it's more about effort than anything else, and commitment to it. And this goes back to my original point. I think I said to you guys a few weeks ago about how like we always try to lean into these established coaches. Right? I want a coach that's hungry, that's trying to prove itself, bringing some fresh thoughts to the game. You know what I mean? Like if you think of some of the better teams in the league in terms of the standings, right? They have these up and coming coaches, right? Cleveland, Boston, right? He took over for Ime Udoka, but Mazzulla was an up and coming coach. A guy who brought something different. The Orlando Magic, right? Obviously the Knicks have Thibodeau, but like some of these teams just have creative coaches, young coaches who haven't won anything, right? Ime Udoka's in Houston. The OKC coach, the Memphis coach,
who's
right?
The Rockets coach.
Yeah,
Ime Udoka.
Ime is the Rockets coach. Yeah.
They're in second in the West. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's just like it's these established OG coaches who won a ring by proxy, like because of the situation they were in. Like I don't give Doc Rivers too much credit for his ring in Boston. I don't give Nick Nurse too much credit for his ring that he won with the Raptors. I mean, bro, you had Kawhi Leonard when LeBron left the East. Like, come on, bro. Yeah. Let's be honest. If LeBron wasn't in the East, we could argue Toronto would have been in the finals every year, but they weren't because LeBron was there. So like, I have a hard time giving certain coaches credit. I want to see a young, inventive coach.
Yeah,
I go back and forth a lot on is it the coach or is it the roster, man? Because the Magic had the highest rated defense in the league just a couple games ago. I'm not sure what it is now, but they have like 9 players that are over 6'9" on that roster. And the OKC's built the same way. Houston, they just rebuilt it perfectly with the young scorer and Jalen Green and those, and then you have just so many big wings, Amon Thompson and Tari Eason and all these dudes, and then you bring in a like Draymond Green style of player and Dylan Brooks, who is like that hard nosed defender who's gonna kind of get the young guys to stop bullshitting around. You know what I mean? And then Ime Udoka's the same mentality, so it just seems like a perfect combination of all types of things. Yeah. I don't think it's just the coach. I think this roster is bad. Like when you really look at the Sixers roster, dude. Again, like you got Kyle Lowry, Eric Gordon, and Reggie Jackson on this roster. Your backup center technically is a second round pick out of UCLA that the coach won't play. So it's both for me. You know what I mean? It's both for me. I don't think this roster is good. Yeah, I don't think this roster is good or is as good as I think it should be year 9 in the process. I don't think it was built very well. But yeah, the coach isn't being creative with your lack of size and your lack of athleticism. Well, then I should play this guy. Right? He doesn't do it. But he's that Doc Rivers style of coach that if you give him a good enough roster, he's gonna go win. But then that takes away. Does that make a good coach at all, really, or is that just a good roster?
It goes back to your point. It goes back to your point, Eastwood, a while back when you said like, this roster's old as hell, right? And now I'm saying to myself like,
roster in the NBA.
Now I'm saying to myself, you know what? These old coaches like old players. So I want to get a young coach who's going to play the young players. You get what I'm saying? Like it just seems like are these young coaches? They're playing young players. You know what I mean? Like some of the best teams, they're young players. The Sixers, old ass roster. Not old ass, but like Nick Nurse is probably what, in his 50s? Like who knows? Late 40s? Who knows?
56, I think.
So like my point is, it's just like
56. He's actually only 5 years younger than Doc Rivers. Think about that.
What?
Wow.
That's insane. Regardless, though, right? You're right. This roster is not built like any of those teams I mentioned. Like you said, OKC, they got a bunch of players who are just tall, long, athletic, and they can put the ball in for it in there. They can shoot. It just seems like, okay, to your point, why didn't we see this before the season started? Or maybe we saw it, we just ignored it because we saw the personnel and we said, hey, Paul George and Embiid, and we assumed the best. Right. Is that what it was? Like, did we assume the best despite the clear flaw we saw in age?
Well, right, because we were expecting Joel Embiid to come back, be an MVP. You know what I mean? That solves a lot of issues. You know what I mean? The team don't look this bad if Joel Embiid was healthy. Let's just keep it real. Like, he makes he makes the whole team better. You know what I mean? He's a superstar when healthy. But that's what I was expecting. I didn't think it would be this bad. And now, since he hasn't been healthy, the flaws are starting to be right in front of you. But it's still like I would love to have like a younger coach to play the younger players. We would have been found out about KJ Martin a little bit more. We would have seen Jared McCain probably earlier. You know what I mean? It's kind of like what happened with Ben Simmons, and like we didn't get to see Tyrese Maxey because Ben Simmons was playing. You know what I mean? And he is. You know, they didn't want to give Tyrese Maxey an opportunity. And once he got the opportunity and kept getting more and more minutes, his averages start to go up higher. And we're like, oh, snap. Yeah. We drafted him 21 overall, and he's pretty darn good. And then as he got more minutes and more opportunity, you see that he's a star. So it's the same thing with this roster. But it's just since we haven't had a healthy Joel Embiid, now everything is just right in front of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you need 8 guys. You need 8 or 9 guys that can play at a high level to have success in the playoffs. And, if Joel was healthy, that would mean probably Drummond's coming off the bench. And I'm still looking at this bench, and I'm seeing KJ Martin gave you 20. He's not going to give you 20. If Caleb Martin can figure it out, there's another bench guy that can be a high-level playoff performer or has been in certain parts of his career. Jared McCain, I think can be a high-level guy in any situation, even though he's only 20 years old. But I'm not seeing really 8 or 9 guys out here. I'm seeing KJ Martin, then I'm seeing Caleb Martin with a broken shoulder. Kyle Lowry's 40 years old. Eric Gordon, Reggie Jackson, Ricky Council. Ricky Council's a guy that's a high athletic, high motor guy, but man, maybe one of the lowest basketball IQs I've ever seen. You know, he just, bro, to shoot the other night, 48 seconds left in the game. Tyrese Maxey's on the floor. Jared McCain's on the floor. This guy shot a 3 to try to tie the game, a contested 3 early in the shot clock. I don't think Nick Nurse is ever going to play him again after that. I don't know if he has yet.
Is there anybody? Okay, so to your point, right? Let's do this real quick. Let's do a little experiment. Who on this roster, if you could do it today, if it was up to you, how many players and who would you keep, and who would you just you're out of here? Because remember, you say you need 8 or 9 players to do well in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Who would you keep, and who would you just throw to the wind today?
Mike, you go first.
All right, so look, I got this. All right, Joel Embiid, I'm keeping, obviously. All right. So then we got Paul George, keeping. Tyrese Maxey, of course, keeping. Not touching that. Kelly Oubre Jr., I'm keeping. Yabusele, I'm keeping. I like Andre Drummond, but if I can get somebody, I guess I'm keeping Andre Drummond.
How many is that for you right now? 5?
Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. How much is that? I don't even know. I ain't gonna lie.
You said Embiid,
I said PG, Maxey, Joel, Yabusele, Drummond, Kelly. KJ. Jared McCain.
Yeah.
And KJ. I mean, everybody else can go.
I'm with you on all of those, man.
I'll get rid of any of them, but it just depends on what you can get back. Like if say someone says, "Yo, I want Jared McCain, and I'll give you this and that," man. I'm sorry, bro. He gotta go.
No,
he gotta go. I'm trying. If we healthy, bro. No, I'm trying to win a championship, man. If we healthy, and if they want, like, it has to be the right player. Like I was talking about, like a caliber of, like, say you can get like one of the Wagner brothers, the number 22. You get him to replace Jared McCain. Imagine that. They want Jared McCain. They want
the younger
first-round picks. Yeah, he's the younger one. What is he, like 25 years old?
Franz is 24, and Mo is 27.
I'll take him. You can have Jared McCain. We'll give up first-round picks as well. We'll give up whatever. I'll take him. Imagine having him on this roster, bro. Him and Tyrese Maxey. He like, what is he, like 6'6"?
My God,
6'7"?
I like McCain.
I understand what you're saying as far as you got to go all in to try to win a championship, but you would have to feel a lot more confident about Joel Embiid's health.
That's what I'm saying. You know if healthy, if he's healthy,
also,
I'll go all in.
I'm not trading Jared McCain for anything in the NBA right now, and there's a couple reasons for that. Jared McCain is doing something at 20 years old that has him on a path to literally, this is going to sound crazy, but be the next Steph Curry, be the next Luka Doncic. I'm dead serious. This guy, in his first 20 games as a rookie, has a number of points, rebounds, and assists that has only been done by 2 players in the history of the NBA, Luka Doncic and Damian Lillard. He's on some crazy lists with the stats that he's put up in just 20 games. And the level of maturity and, like, the way that he plays the game and how confident he looks and how fundamental he is and how just damn good his three-point shot is, his mid-range shot is, his finishing around the rim is, his facilitating, his running a pick and roll, reading the defense, making the assists. He is one of the best. He is one of the best entry passes to Joel Embiid that I've ever seen drop in there. Like, he just dropped it in. And he's still gonna grow and still gonna get better. And I can't do it.
And he allows Maxey to play off ball. So, like, if you move McCain, now you're hurting 2 players.
Nah, because I'm saying if you get the right player next to, like, you got to get the right guy. Like, so you're telling me you wouldn't trade him for the Franz Wagner, number 22?
Well, here's the thing.
You wouldn't trade him for him.
I think we have to talk about, would a GM trade him or would I personally trade him? You know what I'm saying?
Do you think a GM would do it? Do you think they'll do it?
If it's a good enough package that you feel like, okay, this puts us in championship contention. If, say, in a perfect world, Joel Embiid turns into the Joel Embiid of last year, mid-January, and is putting up 35 and 12 and dominating, and you feel like Jared McCain and Maxey are redundant, or we don't need McCain really because Maxey and Paul George are shot creators and we can get more size and off the bench and all that. And I could see a GM maybe doing it if they want to be, especially Daryl Morey, if he wants to be like, this is going to save my name. This is going to save my reputation. If I get this team into the NBA Finals, that's the difference between me being a GM for the next 10 years or getting fired this year. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I
don't want to trade him. I'm just saying, like, if it was a possibility.
I could see a decision like that for a lot of different reasons. But me personally, man, and Daryl Morey is the one that, he traded for James Harden off the bench out of OKC. He drafted Tyrese Maxey and refused to trade him in all kinds of things. The first James Harden trade talks, the Damian Lillard trade talks. I think Daryl Morey probably won't trade Jared McCain for anything either. I think he sees the next 5 years.
And also, you got to keep in mind, like, that's on his resume. So he wants to make sure his jacket stays as clean as possible, knowing what we're going through right now with this team. And because of the uncertainty behind Joel Embiid, I can't afford to move Jared McCain because as of right now, McCain and Maxey and the occasional Paul George performance is keeping people in the seats. So, and McCain also provides some level, to your point about his maturity, and just him and Maxey have this light about them, have this energy about them. I think the only reason I don't know, maybe you guys feel differently, but I think the only reason I personally have optimism in this organization and this team is because of those two players.
Yeah, but I still do see what point you're making, because
I get it though. Yeah,
Jared McCain's so good at 20 years old that if you were going to trade him, a team that's rebuilding would give up a lot for him. You know what I mean?
Sure would.
But I personally couldn't do that.
And also, I wouldn't be able to live with myself.
He's going to be so good when he's in 4 or 5 years.
I know.
Man.
He's only how old is he?
This kid is 20 years old.
Yeah,
20. Right. And he's had a stronger start to his career than Maxey did.
But that's because he got more opportunity than Maxey.
Yeah, you're right. Context matters.
Like,
no, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right. Context matters.
If he had the opportunity, I think Tyrese Maxey would have been just.
No, you're right. I don't want to dismiss that because that's because I think Eastwood brought it up earlier, or was it you, about the whole Ben Simmons thing? Yeah. So you're absolutely right. It's just that I just can't see myself trading McCain under these present circumstances.
Yeah, because you don't. It's the big
I'm gonna
question
say
mark
something
with
crazy
Joel,
right now. I'm gonna say something that might be a hot take right now.
Oh, let's buckle in.
Because I'm the one that ranted about the draft and drafting Jared McCain. I knew nothing about him, and he's absolutely blown my mind. Like, he's absolutely
I talk shit too.
Blown me away.
Me too.
And watching him play this season, he is better at everything on the court than Tyrese Maxey is right now. And definitely was at his rookie season. I don't see how anybody can make an argument, and I don't want to go. This isn't me trashing Tyrese Maxey. I think he can get his shot back, and he can be lethal. He was a lethal.
He's more polished. He came in more polished. That's all. He came in more polished.
I don't know.
Flat out fundamentals and skills. Maxey has the speed, the athleticism, the
better passer.
But flat out fundamentals and skills. Jared McCain has
okay.
Let's
play a game. Let's play a game.
He's a better 3-point shooter. He's a better ball handler. He's a better facilitator. He's a better mid-range shooter. He might be a better finisher around the rim.
I'm glad you said that, Eastwood. I was going to ask you, who's a better shooter? Who's a better passer? Who's a better defender? I wanted to go through that checklist with you. You know what I'm saying?
Jared McCain is the only player on this team in the past couple of years that when he shoots an open three, I feel like it's definitely going in.
Yeah, especially if he's wide open.
That is a good point.
Knows it. The corner shot that he made the other night where he stared down the Magic, he started looking at the Magic's bench when the ball was still in the air.
And talking trash.
His confidence is crazy. I'm going to be honest. His confidence. I mean, listen, if you paint your nails, your confidence got to be through the roof, right? So
what you saying, Eastwood? We building around Mac? We building around McCain? If Joel Embiid's not, hold on, what you talking about?
We're not building around McCain. We're not building. We're not building around McCain, but he's going to be so good in a couple years that when this Joel Embiid thing is over and this Paul George thing is over, which it's going to be over in 3, it's going to be definitely over in 3 to 4 years. The Paul George and Joel Embiid, they ain't playing when they're 38.
Yeah, that's
true. What I mean?
Oh man, yo, I ain't gonna lie, we got the chat in uproar right now. People are upset about this one.
Hold on, Eastwood.
You have another path to take. You have another. I don't ever want to be in that Andre Iguodala mediocre team in the early 2010s ever again. You know. And Jared McCain's that guy that saves that for me. I'm getting older. I don't want to approach 50 years old and this team be in the basement. You know, I want the next phase of the 76ers, and Jared McCain is one of them.
So he's the number one guy.
All right, let's just call it what it is though. There was a point in the season where McCain was like clearly the best player on the floor.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
For a few games.
And again, I want people to understand and try to think critically. We're not trying to say Maxey isn't a valuable player. I love Maxey. I love his game. I love everything about him. But we got to be honest about certain things. Like there are certain aspects of McCain's game that's more polished than Maxey's game. Like Maxey has put in a lot of work to get where he is. A lot of work. He's a gym rat. But we still, even though Maxey didn't get the same amount of minutes as McCain, we still saw him play that year and saw him play in the playoffs. There's a certain refinement to McCain's game that he has more than Maxey. And I think this goes back to my point earlier. McCain doesn't have the same athleticism as Maxey. Yeah. So I think he's had to refine those tools that Maxey probably didn't have to work on because he relies so much on speed and being able to beat everybody. Yeah. And when you get to the NBA level, everybody got speed, everybody's strong. So you have to refine your game more. I think Maxey is a tremendous player, and I think he's untouchable. I love the Maxey McCain pairing. But because McCain doesn't have the same speed and athleticism, I think there are certain parts of his game that are more refined than Maxey's. I think that's a unbiased take. That's a logical take.
We ain't trying to trade none of them, y'all.
And Maxey at the two, Maxey at the two alongside a point guard is so good. When you get him coming off screens and going downhill, you know him. Like I said, when he played alongside James Harden, his percentages were crazy. And if Nick Nurse would just run Jared McCain at point guard, and Tyrese Maxey as shooting guard, and Paul George as small forward, the whole team. But he won't do it because he's 20 years old. He won't do it because he's 20 years old.
Yeah.
You know, the other night against the Magic, both runs the Sixers made were with Jared McCain with the ball in his hands. It's the only reason they were in that game. And then he put him on the bench to start the fourth and had Kyle Lowry out there again. So I don't have faith that he's going to do that because he's too young. But he's a major reason the Sixers have been in some of these games. For sure.
Yeah, look, man. I hate the whole you're right though. Nurse does think like that. Oh, he's too. I don't care. Listen, this is NBA. We grown now. This ain't college where everybody grown. Yeah. Everybody getting paid millions of dollars. Ain't nobody young, man. Like, you know what I mean? If this guy's playing, if this guy's helping you win, and clearly when he's out there, everyone is playing better. Keep him out there. McCain got them young legs. He don't need to sit down. Put his ass out there.
It's like you're being punished for being young. It's like if you got the game, put him in the damn game. Like, what are we doing?
It's like they're trying to humble him. They don't want to get too big for his bridges. And I'm like, no, what do you mean?
I don't know. I agree. Like, I feel like McCain should be in the starting lineup. And I just feel like, yeah, man, this team could be pretty darn good if he's in the starting lineup and Joel Embiid's healthy. But I understand. But you didn't answer the question, Tone. What was your 8 people, your 8 players that you're like good with? You didn't answer the question, bro. I'm not letting you get away with that, bro.
I ain't gonna lie.
Because Eastwood said he agree with me, so you got.
All right,
you know
so
what I mean?
I agree with you, and but I'm getting rid of anyone over 35, bro. Reggie Jackson, Eric Gordon, Kyle Lowry, get him out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Caleb Martin can go too, because I think Caleb Martin and Kelly Oubre are kind of redundant. And Ricky Council, you know, yeah. If I could put better players in all 5 of those spots, I would.
He broke his shoulder.
So here's who I'm keeping. Okay, and some of y'all might be mad at me about this, but here's who I'm keeping. If I could keep them,
all right,
right. And I'm not thinking about money at all. I'm just thinking about these are the players I want. These are the players I don't want. I'm keeping Maxey, so that's 1. I'm keeping McCain, that's 2. I'm keeping Paul George, that's 3. I'm keeping Yabusele, that's 4. I guess I got to keep Embiid because of who he is, so that's 5. And after that, I'm not really impressed by anybody. Like no one has made themselves like invaluable to me. Like so, and listen, Embiid almost didn't make my list. I'm being honest. Embiid almost didn't make my list, but because of what we have and what we don't, I can't just let him go. So. You know,
back for him, so
Tone? Are you still on the? You know, if somebody would offer something for Joel Embiid right now, you would trade him right now.
Hell yes. Hell
What's
yes.
the bare minimum? Like, what you talking about? Like, first round pick? Like, what kind of player are you expecting to get back for Joel Embiid right now? Like, realistically, like,
I mean, I would love a wing, and another big man, but it's tough. It's tough. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I don't really know what we could get back from being honest. And again, like I haven't really thought it through. It's just a feeling that I have. You know what I mean? Like I didn't really do this. I didn't really do the science on what a Joel Embiid trade looks like. I just know that I've been ready to trade him for a couple years now.
Well, if that's the case, then they should have done it a while ago because I don't know if he has any value right now.
And that's why I'm even more frustrated with it because actually I wanted to trade him after that Toronto series when he broke his face. I wanted to trade him in. And that was before the MVP, right?
Yeah. It's always going to be a thing with franchises, you know, because the owner's never going to want to get rid of the guy that's selling the tickets. And so, you know, we can have hindsight about, I think, a lot of guys in history that should have been traded at a certain point to get ahead of their decline. But an owner's rarely going to do that because the owners don't know enough about basketball to even understand that that's what you need to do at a certain point. And all they see is ticket sales and money, and they're saying, I'm not trading that guy. Are you kidding me? I don't care if we win a championship. Every game is sold out, and here's my profits.
They just take them out the money.
And that's the difference between the NBA and the NFL. Like the NFL, if a team knows, it seems like NFL teams know they're going nowhere before an NBA team does. And in the NFL, if a team knows they're going nowhere, they will trade a star to get younger, get pieces, get draft picks, I've seen teams trade one guy and flip their fortunes like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's probably because you need a lot more on an NFL team to be
absolutely,
good.
Absolutely.
A basketball team can be totally changed by two guys, you know.
Yeah, and I think somebody in the chat said, so I think they asked me, Tone, why did you want to trade Embiid that early? I guess what I said, the Toronto series, and that was what 2022. Was that 2022? I think it was 2021, 2022, something like that. Yeah. To me, that's not early. We knew, at that point, we know Joel Embiid's skill set. We also know the health issues. And me personally, when you're a big man of that size, your health isn't going to get better. So in my mind, I'm like, listen, trade him while he has value, and then you can really load his roster with young wing, like you said about OKC. They got a bunch of players that are just young, they're long, they're rangy. I just personally had a different vision with this team, and I am of that mindset that your best player can't be a center.
Well, Daryl Morey doesn't believe in age at all. He doesn't, and it's because he's 100% a math guy. He doesn't know anything about sports. He's a stats math guy. He has a master's degree in business analytics, probably. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what it's called, but I read his Wikipedia page before. He's 100% a math guy. He got his start because he was working for a company called Stats.com, and he invented an algorithm that predicts win percentages. He takes players' stats and says, if I put these guys together in this equation, this is how many more wins it's going to equal. I'm dead serious. He knows nothing about athleticism, size, age, anything. And you see it when he builds rosters. Right. He does not value height and size and physicality. And
just looking with your eyes. You can't go by the stats.
And he doesn't understand that guys, when they're 37 years old, are not the guy they used to be.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so to be specific, I wanted to trade Joel Embiid. It was the 2021-2022 season. It was where they beat the Raptors in the first round, 4-2, and then we lost to the Heat, 2-4. That's when I was ready to trade him, right there. Yeah, I was ready to move him from right after that.
You know, we keep on saying if we can just get a better roster around Joel Embiid, and we finally so-called got the best roster, and the man's not even on the court. So I think a lot of people are just over this continuous thing, you know what I mean, with Joel Embiid. And I look, man, I just want to win so bad, so I'm just trying to like keep some type of hope. But I do agree with a lot of Sixer fans what they saying. Like, man, get what you can get now before he just falls off a cliff 100%. And we don't know if he has or not because he hasn't played. But it's just like get what you can get before it's too late. You know what I mean?
Also, I never felt like Embiid truly endeared himself to the city. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like Maxey, he endeared himself to the city. I feel like he bought into what to that Sixers culture or that Philly culture, right? Embiid always felt like a guy that was just here and existing, and he just happens to be great at basketball, and we like him and we love him because he's great at basketball. What happens when the injuries happen and the basketball starts to slow down? Now who are you to this city? You get what I'm saying?
Personality? You mean by personality, like the city doesn't vibe with his personality too much?
I think it goes both ways. I think he doesn't really vibe with the city, and I also think the city doesn't vibe with his personality.
Yeah, but is that a little bit unfair because he's not from America? You know what I mean?
That's a strong possibility. But at the same time, Giannis isn't from America, and I see how passionate he is about where he plays, about his craft, like about hard work and dedication. See, Philly is a city, you guys know this. Philly is a city where, regardless of what goes down, if we see that unwavering effort, we will always love you. Right? And yeah, we see Joel Embiid go out there and play here all the time, especially in the playoffs with the broken face and the not cerebral palsy. What is it? Bell's palsy and all that. We've seen him play under some extenuating circumstances, and I give him so much credit for that, right? But then we always had those conversations always come up about him being in shape in the off season, or working hard in the off season to make sure he's ready to go. And it's just like, the work you put in when we're not looking should supersede the work you put in when we are looking. You get what I'm saying? Like, it carries over.
So okay. So you're saying his dedication to and his work ethic isn't Philly level, isn't like that hard working blue collar city type of stuff. Because I thought you meant like vibing with the city, really, like because
Giannis, no, I mean, look, everybody's not the same person. So personalities, like, you're right. I should have been more specific.
Giannis is definitely dedicated to always being in shape and always being the best basketball player he can be. But he doesn't give a damn about Milwaukee.
You're right. That's a good point. I definitely should have been way more specific.
Yeah, Giannis has already kind of requested trades or threatened to, So, but I agree. I agree that Joel Embiid's overall dedication to being in shape and being the best that he can be hasn't been there. I agree.
Right. And I think people are tired of that on top of you being hurt. Like, because at a certain point, we start saying, okay, yeah, you're talented, but you're never there to show us. You know what I mean?
And then it's like he's not like on the court, like at least on the bench. Even though Paul George was hurt, he was still on the bench. You know what I mean? And he was still supporting his team and showing being enthusiastic about when his team is doing good and all that. He's nowhere to be found. Where is Joel Embiid? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, are you really here or not? Like, and that's why I be thinking sometimes, like, are they working on a blockbuster trade right now? Because it's like, is he even going to play? Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, nobody knows.
They could be. And yeah, you know what I mean? I don't like the way that, he showed up for played a couple games, looked terrible, looked out of shape, looked like he's still hurt, all that stuff. And then, he signed a $200 million extension. And then he came out and basically said, like, I've given too much for this city to be treated like this. So you basically, it came off to me as like, so you deserve another 3-year, $200 million, and you feel like you shouldn't even have to play? Like, that's what it felt like to me. I already gave you guys all of this effort, so you shouldn't be saying anything. We want to win basketball games, and don't sign a damn extension if you're not going to care. You know what I mean? I feel like he does kind of feel like he's earned an extension and shouldn't have to care anymore.
When he said that, I've given too much to the city, what do you think he specifically meant by that? Because when he said that, I felt like he was talking about playing through injury. But my thing is
putting himself in harm's way. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, bro, results matter.
Right.
And you have not been able to get to an Eastern Conference Finals.
Right.
What have you? The city respects results more than anything.
Right.
More than anything. Right? Yeah, sure. You went out there and laid it out on the line. Okay, yeah, but when that Boston series, where were you when it mattered most? Right? Like, it's just like he wants credit for going out there for being hurt, but at the same time, you want us to be okay with the result. And that's not who we are. Like, you guys know Philly Sports Club, that's not who we are. We're not okay with just being second, third fiddle, anybody.
Yeah. Brian in the super chat is blaming it on Skechers. 76ers have not recovered from Joel choosing Skechers. He lost all his aura, and the basketball gods are coming down hard. $200 Skechers are nasty.
That's crazy.
Is he really peddling $200 Skechers?
I don't know if they're $200, but yeah, he's signed by Skechers. They put out a basketball line, and he's the biggest athlete that they signed. and I don't want to get into that, but just as a business model, like, who the hell is buying Skechers basketball shoes, bro? It doesn't matter what athlete you sign. If they wanted to make a basketball line of shoes, they needed to name it something else. It can't be called Skechers.
Can't be, right. You got to change the whole name.
You needed to create a subsidiary of Skechers, like so we don't know what it is.
Man,
bro, anybody's getting roasted. They show up to the court with
right.
Skechers,
That's what I'm saying. Like, because where can you get Skechers? Like, what's the store?
Payless.
Yes, that's what I'm
or
saying.
Payless.
Come
Dillard's.
on, Joel. What are you doing? Joel.
Those are Shaq shoes. Remember the Shaq shoes with the remember the Shaq shoes?
Yes.
They had like this. It was kind of the Shaq version of the Jordan logo, but he was like hanging on the rim.
Yep.
Those were like $20 shoes, man.
Oh my God! Listen, like you said, people are roasting you if you come to the court with Skechers on. New Balance just got cool on the court. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They just got cool.
Yeah.
So like, let's be real.
True, that's true. New Balances came a long way. That's true.
They have, and I like their track sneakers.
Is an uphill battle though.
yeah. He picked the wrong
Skechers. They've always made, but New Balance has always made quality shoes though.
Yes.
Skechers is a cheap company. You know,
that makes light up shoes.
Hey man, we've been up here for an hour and 10 minutes, man. This was fun again. We do it every Saturday morning when we can. I think we covered mostly everything. You guys got anything else you wanted to say?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm just curious to see where the rest of this season goes. I'm looking forward to a good week of basketball, football. You know, I'm looking forward to all this stuff, man. It's a good time right now. Overall, for sports, for sports fans, just lock in, enjoy it. At the end of the day,
right?
It's entertainment. Try not to let it affect your day to day, even though it's very, very hard, Sixers fans. But look. McCain,
bro,
Maxey.
I get so mad. I get so mad at myself, bro, because people think I rant and yell on here. Some people say that I scream and get red in the face to milk views and stuff. And I'm like, does this seem fake to you? Because it's fucking so real.
Yo, I'm so glad you said that, Eastwood. I'm so glad you said that because people don't understand. Like,
dude, and then I go downstairs and I'm pissed off, and I gotta tell my girl like, I can't. I'm sorry. I need another hour and a half to like tweet about this and like, I can't, man.
Who you tell? People don't understand, right? It's harder. Okay, we already love these teams, right? Sixers, Eagles. Your Vikings, Mike. Like, we already love our respective teams, right?
Yeah.
Now add in the fact that we got to talk about it, not just to our friends in person, like in behind closed doors, but now we got a microphone in front of us and we got to try to be pros about this.
Yeah.
It's not easy when you're that invested in a product. And you really want the best. I tell people all the time on my channel, listen, don't get me misconstrued. What you're seeing right here is pure passion. Regardless if you agree or disagree, you're gonna feel me. And that's and that's why I love you, Eastwood, because regardless if people agree or disagree, you're gonna feel me because I'm serious about what I'm saying. And I'm being me.
It's difficult. It gets difficult because a lot, as just a fan, you have a choice where you can be like, I'm gonna stop watching this team for about 2 months and see what happens. You know what I mean? I signed up for some things that now I'm like, fuck.
Yes.
I got to talk about this team again.
Yes. People don't understand. Like when we do this, we sign up for the good and the bad.
Good and the bad. We went through the process years, man.
Because y'all depend on us. Y'all depend on us to talk about this stuff, good and bad.
Imagine if somebody signed you to make videos about the process games, dude.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I don't think I would do it. I don't think I would do it. I think I would not do it.
Everyone has a price, Eastwood. What's your price? What's your price?
It would take a lot. It would take a lot.
I still believe.
I still believe too.
I still believe.
I believe. I believe because y'all believe. How about that?
I believe.
Sounds good.
Joel Embiid, we need you, brother.
We need you,
boys. Until next time. Sixers Saturdays. Mike Sports Vibes. Tone to Shields. Run it back, Philly. We out of here.